Mitch McConnell falls for the trap, ladies and gentlemen. We have to talk about Joni Ernst, Mitch McConnell, and Trump just dropped a bomb on all the senators who oppose his picks. He just literally just said who he's going to fight for the most. He is determined. A new big time post just came out of Trump's announcement. But first, I just want to play this real quick because Mitch McConnell says merely invoking peace through strength is not enough. We have an obligation to provide for the common defense. I want you to listen to this because this is going to play a huge role in what this video is about and Trump's announcement about Tulsi Gabbard, DNI. We got a lot to talk about, but just listen to the announcement that Senator Mitch McConnell, because he is leading the pack on senators against Trump's picks. Listen to what he has to say about peace through strength. Apparently, that's not good.
Merely invoking peace through strength is not enough. We have an obligation.
It's not enough.
To provide for the common defense. And it calls us to actually build and maintain that strength. Unless we're willing to spend the necessary resources to address them. Talk is cheap. And a defense authorization bill that fails to set top-line funding above the president's request would be a tragic missed opportunity we would likely come to regret. A rerun of the Budget Control Act's arm to military readiness would be a devastating abdication of our responsibility.
So what does it sound like to you? Well, it sounds like Mitch McConnell, before he leaves office, he's 82 years old. I don't know how long he could keep doing this for. Apparently, he wants war. He doesn't think that Trump's peace through strength plan is going to work. What's crazy about it is that Mitch McConnell is just like these people. Look at what just happened. Look at what was just announced by Defense Secretary Austin. Take a listen to this.
And I'm proud to announce today the commitment of a new Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative package worth nearly $1 billion. And I'm proud to announce today the commitment of a new Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative package worth nearly $1 billion.
Proudly announcing, Secretary of Defense Austin announces $1 billion in Ukraine aid. That goes in forth with what Trump was basically against. Trump earlier today made the announcement that what's going on in Syria is not our problem. Ukraine must have peace. But apparently, according to these senators, this is not good. And Trump's picks are not good. But Trump just fought and it led them right to his trap. Big time news here. The two nominees whom Trump is prepared to go to war for. Trump is prepared to go to war for two of them. President Trump is prepared to go to wars against any Republican senators who dare oppose the nomination of RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard. One Trump advisor said, if they try to touch Tulsi and Kennedy, then it's war. Another advisor said, if Tulsi or Bobby face real trouble, that's when Trump will really start to fight. They represent the challenging of the status quo, of the bureaucracy. That's what MAGA is all about. George says, I love hearing this so much. Trump views both of them as rock stars that represent MAGA populism. Anyone who thought Trump was nominating just because is dead wrong. Trump makes an announcement and a message right to the establishment, specifically Mitch McConnell and Joni Ernst. Now, here is CNN, John Bolton, melting down over Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, I think she's totally unqualified to be a DNI, and I think her positions put her beyond the outermost fringe of American politics. When she visited Assad in Syria, he was effectively a Russian-Iranian ally. And what she said about Syria not being a direct threat to the United States, that was her justification for going, it's completely false. The Syrians and their combination with Iran and Hezbollah have posed direct threats to Americans across the region. They certainly pose a direct threat to key American allies, Israel and Jordan. And it's going to be very interesting to see what the files that may be uncovered in the Syrian government, if the rebels succeed in capturing Damascus, what they show about a number of Americans.
So apparently he says that she is unqualified, extremely unqualified. Now, it's crazy because this was one of the breaking news. This is why Trump is fighting so hard for Tulsi Gabbard. I'm glad that he made that announcement. Breaking, nearly 100 national security officials have reportedly signed a letter expressing opposition to Tulsi Gabbard's confirmation as Director of National Intelligence. We got a whole bunch of people coming out against Tulsi Gabbard. Whenever national security officials come together to sign a letter like they did to certify Hunter Biden's laptop story as Russian disinformation, that's how we know we can support whoever and whatever they're attacking, which is Tulsi Gabbard. So here is another person, again, the same guy, Senator Mitch McConnell, right here, again.
There's been a lot of talk about the politics of all this. So listen to what I have to say right now. A clear majority, 17 points greater than just 2 years ago, agree that America should be more engaged, and take the lead.
I don't know what poll he's talking about where apparently majority of Americans say that we should be more involved and should start taking the lead in world conflicts. But apparently that's the push from Republicans. Republicans like Mitch McConnell, senators like Mitch McConnell, and many others, by the way, they are reading polls that say that we, the American people, should be taking the lead. And that's why we should be involved in mostly every world conflict. We should be the ones taking the lead.
And surely to the dismay of proponents of managed decline or leading from behind, when asked what objectives the U.S. military should be prepared to achieve if faced with simultaneous major power conflicts, the largest share said, victory. These citizens have it exactly right. America shouldn't play for a tie. And to accept decline is to invite defeat. The American people's message echoes a chapter of history that Washington would do well to brush up on.
So apparently Peace Through Strength award ceremony has a recipient by the name of Mitch McConnell. Peace Through Strength. I don't think that there's anything about Peace Through Strength about Mitch McConnell. This guy is this guy is all about Ukraine, all about sending money overseas, sending taxpayer money overseas.
Think back to 1940. Isolationism had already lost its grip on the American public opinion. In the Nazi conquest of Poland and France and in the Blitz over London, Americans saw an aggressor who wouldn't stop at the water's edge. They saw their own security and prosperity hanging in the balance. And they said so. Overwhelming majority of Americans told pollsters they supported massive new investments in defense and even the institution of a draft.
So what polls is he talking about? What polls is he talking about? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's not the only Republican senator that is against Trump's picks, or at least saying that the way to have peace through strength would be to just flat out be more involved with the military-industrial complex. Here's what Dan Bongino has to say about another Republican senator trying to sabotage Trump's picks. Take a listen.
I understood that by telling the truth and by speaking truth to power, that I was never going to be that guy. And believe me, there are consequences. I'm only human, folks. Sometimes you really just want someone to say, like, look at Dan and give you a little, and that's never going to happen. Me outside of government is better. Because if I wanted to get inside of government right now, I would need the support of senators like Lindsey Graham and Joni Ernst. And you know what? It's not worth selling your soul over. Why do I bring those two up? Because very credible sources, unimpeachable sources, have told me that these are the two ringleaders behind sabotaging Pete Hegseth. And it's disgusting because they both share one thing in common. They've run under our brand, the Republican Party brand. Folks, Pete's being destroyed. His life, his wife, his kids, his family. They've dragged his mother into it. And they're doing it because they're applying Rule 11 of Saul Alinsky's rules, because that's who the media is. Pick the target, freeze it, personalize it, polarize it. Don't attack abstract corporations or bureaucracies. Identify a responsible individual. Ignore attempts to shift or spread the blame. They are focusing on Pete. Folks, it is time to draw the line. They've already taken their scalp in Matt Gaetz. If we don't draw a line in the sand and say, not today, not this guy, then folks, the swamp's already won.
So why does he say that? Well, let's go here real quick. So apparently a huge announcement breaking. Joni Ernst has announced that she will be meeting again with Pete Hegseth next week to continue constructive conversations. The pressure is working. Keep it up. Then Dan Bongino says, warning to Joni Ernst, Pete Hegseth will be just fine if you sabotage his deserved spot as Secretary of Defense. I'll hire him tomorrow without a second thought on one of the largest digital content platforms in the world, and his voice will be even more powerful. You, however, Joni Ernst, will not be fine. Your actions regarding Pete are the red line for us. And by us, I mean millions of patrons who follow us. And we will never forget what you did. You will be the next Joe Walsh, Mitt Romney, and Adam Kinzinger or Liz Cheney. Bank on it. So Dan Bongino is persistent on this. Big time persistence on this because he is not feeling what they're trying to do, specifically Republican senators. But Donald Trump, once again, makes a huge announcement. My favorite announcement. Here it is. So Trump advisor, if they touch Tulsi or Kennedy, then it's war. Trump promising to go to war with the establishment. I think that should be sooner than later because these are the two nominees whom Trump is prepared to go to war for. And he also made a big announcement about Pete Hegseth in an interview coming up tomorrow. I can't wait for this interview right here.
It looks like Pete is doing well now. I mean, people were a little bit concerned. He's a young guy with a tremendous track record, actually. He went to Princeton and went to Harvard. He was a good student at both, but he loves the military, and I think people are starting to see it. So we'll be working on his nomination along with a lot of others.
Since you bring him up, do you still have confidence in Pete Hegseth?
Yes, I do. I really do. He's a very smart guy. I've known him through Fox, but I've known him for a long time. And he's basically a military guy. I mean, every time I talk to him, all he wants to talk about is the military. He's a military guy. Looks like
Trump is very confident about Pete Hegseth. Trump is very confident about Tulsi Gabbard. Once again, you got people like John Bolton coming out and saying that, John Bolton is now insinuating that there may be proof that Tulsi Gabbard is an employee of Russia or Syria. He claims that there may be documents found if Assad fails. What does that even mean? What type of threat is this? Apparently, if Syria falls, then there's going to be documents that come out that indicate that Tulsi Gabbard was working for them the whole time. Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, buddy. Real quick, it's crazy because I saw this. Jon Stewart and Bernie Sanders are discussing Democrats attacking them for agreeing with RFK Jr. on processed food and Elon Musk. I think we're winning.
How do you walk that tightrope? Because what I find is there is a gag reflex from, and I think both parties have it, a gag reflex on Robert Kennedy says, ultra processed foods are killing Americans. And I'm like, yeah,
that's right.
God awful. That's got to change. But if you were to say that, boy, are you just dogpiled. How can you agree with Robert Kennedy Jr. on anything? He's this and that. And Elon Musk says we've got waste and inefficiency in the government. And we're like, yeah, we've been yelling about that for years. And as soon as you do that, how can you, how dare you? It's really interesting.
Is it interesting, or is it the monster that you created? Late night talk show hosts, Jon Stewart, Daily Show, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, all these people, John Oliver, Stephen Colbert. I mean, you guys pretty much sparked that fire. Anything or anybody that Trump endorses or nominates, you guys have a problem with, even though that majority of the things that they're fighting for are populist. Those are the things that you want to fight for too. That's why you see people like Cenk Uygur coming along on the train and saying, yo, we got to work together because these are the things that we all agree on. But I believe this is how you know you're winning. Bernie Sanders has come out and said, yes, I would love to work with RFK Jr. I would love to work with Elon Musk. I would love to work with Ron Paul. But you have Joni Ernst. You have different folks. You got people like Mitch McConnell walking into the traps that have been set, which is Trump earlier today came out and said, hey, looks like Syria is on the verge of a collapse, but we should not be the ones to get in this. We should not get involved in this. And Mitch McConnell goes and says, well, if we want to have peace through strength, we have to be the world's leader, the world's police. We have to have the best weapons, the best this, the best that. Well, that sounds like the military industrial complex that we're fighting. So a lot of people are getting exposed on this. January 20th can't come soon enough. But I think that what we're watching play out, in my opinion, is the best thing possible. Throughout over a month and I could say a month and a half left before Trump takes office, we're watching exactly who it is that we're fighting. I know the media made it a huge deal when Trump said the enemy from within. I think that this is what he was talking about. The enemy from within are the people who are supposed to be a part of your party, a part of America First, a part of fighting for America, but they're the ones standing and opposing everything that is America First. I wonder why. You know what I mean? So that's just, in my opinion, a huge red flag, but that's the red flag that should be waved that we should be able to see. Indeed. Somebody said the Syrian population they're celebrating the fall of Assad. Yeah, I mean, John Bolton is another one. I mean, this is just the way it goes. But Trump has set the trap for them so perfectly, in my opinion. They're walking right into it because Trump officials and Trump have officially warned that he would do everything and anything to fight for those two to make sure that they get in. And I can't wait to see what that looks like because we already know that they're going to try to oppose this. Lindsey Graham, Joni, Mitch McConnell, we already know that this is what it is. Term limits is something else that Trump also spoke about. That's something I'm very excited about as well. Follow the money. Lindsey Graham, let me read this from William Masters. Lindsey Graham is the rat that tried to get Trump. Let me not read that too loud. Why is Mitch McConnell still working? That's a great question. We've seen him freeze multiple times. Once again, term limits should 100% be a thing in the Senate and in Congress. But this thing doesn't move without Senate approval. It looks like Kash Patel is going to get in, but once again, we don't know. We really don't know what the behavior of these senators are going to be. We know exactly what we need in order to support Trump's nominations. You guys remember when Trump nominated Colonel Douglas McGregor? He got totally denied, right? Trump has nominated people before that weren't able to get through in his first administration. I know that. But I'm guessing Kash Patel's good. Hopefully he's good. He's been getting endorsed left and right, but we won't know until the time comes. But it's very, very good to see Trump come out and say, ha, gotcha. The trap has been laid. You guys can try to play all you want. But these are the people that I'm going to fight for. These are the people that I'm going to make sure get in. Not like my first administration. Not like the first administration. Colonel Douglas McGregor, for those who don't know, I mean, you can look him up. He was supposed to be Colonel Douglas McGregor. When you look at him, let me see. Yeah, he was nominated by Trump. He was, but this is what happened. This is how they do it. U.S. ambassador to Germany nomination. That was what Trump wanted him as. On July 27th, the White House announced that Donald Trump's intent to nominate Colonel Douglas McGregor as U.S. ambassador to Germany. The nomination was controversial because of McGregor's past public statements. He had asserted that Muslim immigrants, referred to as Muslim invaders, come to Europe with the goal of eventually turning Europe into an Islamic state. That's what he had said before. He had argued that the German concept used code, as you guys know. But yes, he was denied. But like I said, it's not the first time that stuff like this has happened. So we'll see. And it's crazy because Mitch McConnell is one of those people that has, I mean, not Mitch McConnell. Colonel Douglas McGregor is one of those people that changed their positions on a lot of things. All right, guys, make sure to smash the like button, spread the word on this video. And let me know exactly what you guys think overall about Mitch McConnell, Joni, about the, Pete Hegseth. There's a huge interview dropping tomorrow with Trump and NBC on Meet the Press with Kristen Welker. That's going to be, I'm going to be looking forward to that interview. Almost 1,000 likes. Yeah, we should be able to get over 1,000 likes if you guys don't mind. Let me see. Yeah, 1 month to go. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that was my news. I'll see you guys on the next one.